Great. Jeanette, you said that we need a motion for the for the winner,
Um,
or
yes, so we have the option of um so there's three nominations that were received. So we just need a motion of who the committee wants to opt to choose for their winner.
right?
Or the committee could opt to, sorry, I'm just going to, so we're now live streaming. I'm just going to pop my calendar, my camera off, but I can speak to that when it comes up.
Okay.
We are again just waiting for Janet McDonald to join if she's able to, because we currently do not have quorum.
So, Janet, if I can suggest something while we're waiting for quorum, perhaps because we have three applications, right? I would suggest that maybe each committee member has a chance to comment on their one they propose, or maybe perhaps even all three. Go around the table that way, and then come to some consensus.
Absolutely, and we can certainly do that when the item comes up. I'm just patiently waiting for Janet to join. So we do have 15 minutes maximum before Janet pops on. So how was everybody's summer? It's unfortunate that we're all sitting here in silence.
It was fast. It was quick and dry. I'm having a hard time adjusting to the dark nights so early in the day.
It is nice when we get up in the morning now that it is a little bit lighter out.
That's true. Are
Angelique,
you able to hear?
sorry, go ahead, Neil.
I just was going to ask if you're able to hear me any better.
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Okay.
Angelique, I have another quick question for you. If we don't get Janet onto the Zoom link, what does that do for your project? Because we don't technically have a meeting.
Yeah, that's that's a good question, Jeanette. Because we do have to get back to the ministry by the end of this year. So I'm not sure if it's possible for, if we don't have quorum today, if members can put some comments in an email and send it to us if they have some feedback, so that we can say that we did have consultation with the committee.
So it technically wouldn't be a meeting, and we're supposed to adjourn if we don't have quorum. But that being said, yeah, I don't know how to deal with it, Angelique. I really do apologize because it's not an official meeting if we don't have quorum.
Right. Okay.
I
Well,
have
let's
not,
just see what happens today with the outcome if we do have quorum. If not, then I will reach out to my contact in the ministry and I can give them a further update. Just as long as we're letting them know what's happening.
Now, if
I'm
we
going
don't
to
have,
try.
if we don't have quorum, individually, are we able to like provide feedback, or would that count then?
Well,
Even if we,
specifically, it does imply that we need to have consultation with the committee. Um,
Hmm.
I would need to look into that further just to get further direction.
Angelique, did you have to register when you clicked on the Zoom link?
No, I did not need to register. It just brought me right into the meeting.
yeah,
Janet's just having issues here and not being able to get on.
Jeanette, if we don't get quorum, is there any way we can just change the meeting to next Tuesday or something? Or another day so that we can give feedback to Angelique before the end of the year?
We can certainly call a special meeting. I know that I know Andy's here with us as well because there's a project in Central Frontenac that as well needs public consultation. Unfortunately, it is, or fortunately, it is under the act that we have to. Sorry, Vanessa, do you have something to add?
Thanks, Janet. I was just wondering if Janet would be able to call in via telephone as opposed to trying to connect over the internet if she's having issues.
Let me just respond to her here as well.
Neil,
hmm,
I don't see a Blue Jay hat on you. You've got a
Ravens.
Ravens. Oh yeah, baseball season is over, right?
I had to retire my hat on the weekend, reluctantly.
There you go.
That was a tough loss.
Well, people who paid big money for their tickets sure got their money's worth. So
Yeah, it was a great series. We unfortunately just ended up on the on the second place side.
well, the Blue Jays left too many runners on base. That's what it come down to. I mean, they had all the chances and they couldn't get that extra runner or two in. And at some point in time, your tide turns or your luck runs out. So
Yeah, they had many chances to actually win.
yeah.
It was unfortunate. I felt bad for the players. They looked devastated. But next
So
year's a new year.
now the speculation is how many of those players will return for next year. Because in this day and age of free agency and stuff, players they move around a lot. Same with hockey. So
That's going to be the question, I think, is how many people come back. It
So
Yep.
I wonder if we have to shut this down. Is everybody available tomorrow at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock? If this time isn't working, I'm not, and I can reach out to the other committee members because as I said, David is the only one who's provided regrets. So I'm not sure.
I I don't think I'd be able to do tomorrow. Um, Jeanette, I could do another day. But previously I was working from home a couple of days a week under the
Yeah.
COVID exemption, but that's since expired. So I'm in the office 5 days a week now. So I would need more than I'd need more time than tomorrow just to be able to get another day off. But I could certainly do either later in the week or next week, probably. I just need time to my supervisor and just request another morning off.
Oh, hang on a second. Okay, I think we have Janet. Can you hear me now? Are you on the phone? But you're muted. Oh. Are you able to unmute yourself, Janet? Because I can't do that here. I can't seem to unmute Janet's phone for her. And I just,
There you go.
oh, Janet, can you hear us?
I can. I'm just trying that last link you sent me, which allowed me to register for this meeting. It doesn't seem to have worked.
Oh, Janet, that's okay. As long as we have you on the phone now, we have quorum.
Okay, and apparently I can speak now, which was my concern in the previous email I sent to you.
And you have a copy of the agenda, correct? So when we pull things up on the screen, you'll know what we're talking about?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so Mr. Allen, you have quorum now and you can call the meeting to order.
I'd like to call the meeting to order then of the Joint and Frontenac Accessibility Advisory Committee for Tuesday, November the 4th. I'll just start with our agenda. I'd like to just read a quick acknowledgement. We begin this gathering by acknowledging and celebrating these traditional lands as a gathering place of the First Peoples and their ancestors who are entrusted to care for Mother Earth since time immemorial. We do so respecting both the land and the Indigenous people who continue to walk with us through this world. Today, the county is committed to working with Indigenous peoples and all residents to pursue a united path to reconciliation. Point 2, adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda for November 4th? Nikki? Can I get a second?
I can do that. It's Bill.
Bill? All right, and all in favor? Point 3, disclosure of any pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. I don't think there is any there. 4, the adoption of minutes from April 30th meeting. Can I get a motion to adopt those minutes? I can motion. Am I able to motion?
No, you're able to second, but to move the motion, you would have to step down from the chair.
Okay. Bill? Okay, and I'll second that. Is that all in favor? And there are no deputations or presentations. So we'll move right on to 6, which is reports to the Accessibility Advisory Committee. The first one is the consideration of the 2025 celebration of the Accessibility Awards. Do you want to speak to that, Janet, or?
I'm sorry, the sound is not very clear for me. If you're asking if I'd like to speak to award number 1 nomination, yes. Just to say that we very much appreciate the services Ashley's Mobile Hygiene Clinic provides to Wolf Island. It's a real benefit for seniors, and she's a beloved member of the community.
Sorry, Jeanette, did you want to um talk about the award, the nominations and how we want to proceed with that? Are you there, Jeanette?
I'm so sorry, I was muted. So just to speak to that again, so the committee has the option to review all of the awards, and if they feel that one stands out over the others, they can choose a winner. But they also have the option as well to recognize all of them. Typically, what we've done in the past is a combination. Sometimes we've recognized one because the other nominations have already received the award in the past, or there was it stood out from the other ones. But then there's also been years where they've opted because they all really stood out and had great merit, that they looked at all of them and wanted to recognize all of them. So it really is the committee's option of whether they feel that one really sticks out, that it should be given the award itself, or you can look at them all and decide whether or not you wish to have, because the committee did change it a few years ago to become the Celebrating Accessibility Award. So it gave that committee the option to choose all of them, or if one stuck out, you could choose one of them. I can't speak to each individual award separately because, again, it is the committee's decision based on their thoughts.
Well, I think they're all important. In my opinion, what does the rest of the committee feel about them? Like it is nice to sort of recognize sort of if there is one that sort of stands out. Are we able to recognize one and then sort of give honorable mention to the other two?
So,
does
Mr. Chair,
anybody have- or does
Mr. Chair, if I
anybody
can
have-
comment, I found interesting that there's 3 awards. One is an individual who's bringing services to people's homes. Another is a business that's creating more accessible access to their business. And the third is I'll call it a government agency or whatever that's expanding, that's not the right term, but expanding access to their facility. So I thought they were all very good and they're all very unique. They all offer a different perspective, I guess. So I have a hard time. Have a hard time deciding which is the better of the 3.
Well, and like you said, they're all important too, right? They all bring something to the table. I'd be fine with recognizing all 3 of them myself.
So would I.
Okay.
The only thing that stood out for me is the Myers Cave one was an ongoing, yes, it's a business, but they also are employing people with disabilities, and it's an ongoing position. So it's an ongoing help to the community. That was my only thing. But if we'd like to recognize all 3, they're all great nominations and all deserve to be recognized.
I agree. I think that it sounds to me like we're all sort of or of the mindset that maybe we could recognize all of them then, because they are each sort of unique in their own. So should we move forward with that idea? I'm fine with that.
So, Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to recognize all 3, and I like your word unique, a motion to recognize all 3 as they represent unique perspectives. I'll help, maybe somebody help me with the wording. Unique perspectives on addressing accessibility issues.
I'll second that motion.
I think you're right, and they do. each of them sort of does offer a unique sort of perspective right from, as I was looking at the different ones over the last few days, they do, they are each sort of contributing in some, to the community. It in each way is a little bit unique from the other. So at this point, then, Jeanette, where would we go with these nominations then?
So the next step is, so if all three get nominated, we do present them with an award. It is done at the warden's reception. Typically the warden will say a few words, and then the chair of the Accessibility Advisory Committee will speak to it as well. I do know, Neil, that you had indicated that you would not be able to attend the warden's reception this year, but if another member of the Accessibility Advisory Committee wanted to speak on behalf of the committee, that would be more than okay as well. No, Deputy Warden Saunders will be at the meeting, but, or sorry, at the warden's reception. As well as Councillor Gowdy. So we have two council members here who will be at the reception that can speak as well on behalf of the committee. And then any other members, I believe all members have been invited.
Now, if we remember that do that, then would that sort of fall to you then, Jeanette, or how would that work?
Any member who's going to, so Janet, I'm not sure if will you be attending the warden's reception? Do you know?
No, I've already sent my regrets.
Okay, so it would appear to me that Councillor Gowdy and Deputy Warden Saunders may be the only members of the committee that are at the warden's reception. So would you both be agreeable to saying a few words about the committee and how we came to this decision, and that the committee felt that each of them represents that unique perspective on addressing accessibility and removing barriers in the County of Frontenac, and so all three are being recognized? We would create some speaking notes for you, but as long as you're both okay to speak on that.
Yes.
Yes, not a problem.
Super. Okay, thank you very much. So then, I guess we'll move on then to B, now are these presentations, Jeanette, that we have people here to
So I will turn the meeting over. It's not the meeting. I'll turn it over to Angelique Cardinal and Vanessa Latimer from the Township of Frontenac Islands. The first one that you have is their accessible playground at the Park Norris Community Park on Howe Island. And I'll let Angelique speak to this, but under the AODA, they are required to consult with the Accessibility Committee on these items.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Chair and the committee. I'm just going to provide you a brief summary of the report. Hopefully you've had a chance to review it. And then at the end, if you have any questions, please let me know. So basically in summary, in June of 2021, the Township of Frontenac Islands received over $200,000 of funding through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. And that was specifically for the upgrades of the Patrick Norris Community Park, which is on Howe Island. These upgrades were completed in 2022 with an official grand opening held at the park August 31st of 2022. In April of this year, in 2025, the township received notification from the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility regarding an AODA audit. And therefore, so staff completed and submitted a compliance plan, or a checklist, which is required by the ministry with the supporting documentation in May of 2025. in July of 2025, the ministry determined that the township was not in compliance with AODA and the IASR requirements for the specifically outdoor play spaces. The ministry has required that the township achieve AODA compliance by December 31st of 2025. So in response to this, the staff has submitted a compliance plan, which outlines our timelines and actions. And of course, the one is being to consult with the committee, specifically on the accessible design and features of the playground surface and the playground itself. So staff are currently looking at playground surface options as far as costing goes. And of course, we will continue to work with the ministry to ensure our compliance and provide them with updates. So we'd really appreciate some recommendations from the committee and regarding to the playground features and to bring us into compliance. Thank you, everyone.
Well, when I
Hi,
was
it's
looking at
Janet. Mr. Chair, it's Janet at Wolf Island. I was wondering if I could speak to this briefly.
absolutely.
Thank you. In 2021, when I first joined this committee, I was told there was funding for an accessible playground on Wolf Island. So I obtained a great deal of documentation for the previous CAO, and I'd be happy to pull that out of my archives and send it in. Basically, after we collected all of the information, which included quotes that had been given to other municipalities and catalogs of all of the information available, we determined that we only had sufficient funding for one piece of equipment.
If I can ask, was that specifically for the Patrick Norris Community Park on Howe Island?
No, no, it was not. I've never seen any plans for the Patrick Norris Community Park.
So specifically, the audit has been for the park here on Howe Island. And in my report, I included some photos of what the surface currently is. And at the moment, the surface is sand.
Yeah.
And so again, there has been change in staff. And so when we received this audit, we looked into what we had as far as information was concerned. But we were to do upgrades based on accessibility for the funding. And of course, that's why we now have an audit, because the park, the playground itself is not accessible.
Yes, so I'm offering to send you everything that I had for Wolf Island, much of which is appropriate for Howe Island. And the very first thing I would suggest you look at is the Rick Hansen Foundation documentation on creating accessible playgrounds.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
I did notice when I was looking at the some of the photos of, like you were saying, the surface is sand. There was a few issues that I sort of noticed right away. One, obviously, the sand is not going to work very well for someone who has mobility devices or get walker wheels. Second was there's on the play store that difficult for someone to get even into it. And the third thing was that there didn't seem to be any kind of path to well. If I saw everything, would that be correct?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, you were cutting out a little bit. I heard a little bit of your suggestions there, but in your question, if you can repeat the question again?
Yeah, I was just sorry. I was just saying that the three things that I did notice were obviously the sand surface. I think that many of the accessible playgrounds now go with a rubberized surface. The other thing was the barrier around the playground. There seems to be a wooden barrier around. Now, obviously, I'm guessing that that's to try and contain the sand. So maybe there would be something that would replace that if you go with a different type of surface like rubber. And the third thing, there didn't seem to be an accessible path to the play structure. There was grass all the way around it, at least from what I was looking at. So it would be nice to have some kind of hard surface path that actually led to the surface of the playground. Those were the first three things that I saw just in regards to the surface. But is it just the surface that you're looking for feedback on?
We would greatly appreciate feedback on the structure itself, the play structure, surface, all those components.
Mr. Chair, I would concur with your observations. I also wonder about what the requirement is for the playground equipment to be accessible. I know the one swing has again, I'm not an expert in this field. It looks like a person can be in there and be secured. I'm not sure about the slide, or certainly not we used to call monkey bars. I'm not sure what we call them now. So I would concur with your comments. Plus, I'd need some advice on the equipment itself.
Let me just get back to here we are. Sorry, I just jumped out for a second. I was looking at the pictures again. I agree that there doesn't seem to be a lot of options as well in the play structure that would be maybe accessible to everybody. It might be interesting to have some kind of interactive structure that, like maybe some kind of soundboard or something that people can interact with that you don't have to climb onto or get into, for people that maybe don't have the ability to do that. Sometimes there are soundboards, I think they're called, or some kind of interactive play structure that you can interact with without having to get on it or get in it. Has had any other sort of suggestions for play structures?
One possibility. Sorry.
Go ahead.
One possibility is a multi-generational swing. If you think about an accessible playground as being a multi-generation playground, a number of the things we've looked at before show swings that can be used by people with mobility devices, including wheelchairs, swings that have seating, so it's more of a platform swing on the ground. And that could be added even outside of the area that you have the sand on as a standalone piece of equipment. They sometimes recommend for people who have attention deficit disorder having a piece of playground equipment in a different location so it can be enjoyed more quietly by the child.
In regards to go ahead, sorry.
The slide, ideally to be used by children with wheelchairs and other mobility devices, would need a ramp and a large enough platform at the top that a caregiver could help the child get into the slide. But I also understand that an accessible playground doesn't have to have 100% of the equipment to meet the accessibility guidelines. I could be wrong.
Well, I think options are always nice, right? Because there's going to be people that want to use certain devices and maybe not use other devices. But in regards to the swing, were you referring to a swing that has a very large platform where you can actually roll a wheelchair onto the platform and then that would swing back and forth? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Another item that I've seen before in different play structures are a platform that you can. It has a large platform that spins like a big circle, and it allows for people, who have mobility issues of different kinds, like chairs or walkers. But I mean, it works also for people that are able-bodied people, able-bodied as well. And in fact, in situations where I've seen those, the able-bodied people are the power behind the wheel. So they get it turning for everybody else that's on it. But it is doing a rubberized structure or a rubberized surface for that size. Is that something that would be in the budget then?
Well, that's why we're in the process right now of just reaching out and getting some quotes, and whether it has to, whether it's this budget or next year's budget. But again, we do need to get that information and the prices in order to move ahead.
Yeah, because I understand that the rubberized surfaces can be quite expensive, but well worth it, just to help increase the participation of everybody in the community.
I'm just wondering, is there any examples specifically anywhere locally that we could reach out to other municipalities, or, as far as information can be provided? Does anybody have any suggestions?
Well, could this include like some kind of water um, sprinkler system as well? I know the play structure at Lake Ontario Park has some interesting um, features there that I know I've been there with before, just for different events, and I've gone over in my wheelchair, and just, there's different areas you can sort of take part in like the sprinkler section, or there's other areas where people can climb onto a structure that is it wouldn't be accessible for everybody, but it would certainly be accessible to people who may have some mobility challenges. It's something they'd still be able to take part in. I'm trying to think if there's other locations in Kingston that would have some different structures. I can certainly look into that. And go ahead.
What was the new playground in Kingston? They presented their plans to us at a previous meeting. I'm thinking maybe about a year and a half ago, so there might be something to actually visit there.
I remember that, and I can't remember which.
I can find that information very quickly and send it out to the committee. I think that Councillor Gowdy also had her hand up to speak as well, Mr. Allen.
Thank you. South Frontenac's in the process, the Township of South Frontenac's in the process of doing an accessible playground in Harrowsmith, I believe, at Centennial Park. Does that sound right, Neil?
Yes,
So
I've heard that.
I think that might be a good place for you to reach out, Vanessa. And I want to say it was North Kingston Family Committee, where it's the one that put in an accessible playground as well. They did huge fundraising for it.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Did you, was there anything else then, today that we have that we could offer to that?
I believe that provides great feedback, and I've taken several notes here. And yes, if Jeanette can share that information from the group that did attend from Kingston, and then we can reach out to them as well. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so did we want to move on to the next one then? That is it the trailhead washroom?
So I believe this one is being led by the Township of Central Frontenac, and Andy Dillon is on with us now to provide you with an overview of those. Andy, let me know if you need me to share my screen and pull the designs up.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, morning, everyone. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have the committee involved in this sooner. I wasn't aware of the requirements. The washroom in Charbot Lake has been a concern for a number of years. We finally got the project underway last month, and I guess the drawings have been provided, and appreciate any feedback that you can give us.
So when does now has the construction started on this?
Correct. It's the foundation is in, and the ramp is well underway.
Okay. I'm just looking through my. So that concept drawing is what this structure will look like when it's finished.
Correct.
Okay.
And I should have maybe taken some pictures of the old facility. This will be a huge improvement.
I've heard that the old facility was not needed replacement.
Yeah, and to be accessible with the trail, the old washroom, I believe it was probably at least an 8 or 9 foot drop from the trail, so you would have needed a ramp probably over 100 feet long to access it.
Looking at, I looked at the drawings over the last few days as well. But I mean, there you can see there's, I mean, these are going to be a vast improvement. Everything from what looks like a changing room to a fully accessible washroom to a number of other washrooms. So in total, there will be 3 new washrooms. Is that correct? And 2 change rooms?
3 washrooms and 1 change room, with 1 washroom being fully accessible.
Okay. Looking at the drawing, the one that says is that a mechanic? Is that the one that says 105 mechanical? Is that just a what is that room then?
That's just to house the hot water tank and
Okay,
some
that's what I thought.
cleaning supplies and electrical panel.
Okay. Now, will these doors all be equipped with automatic doors and
Just the barrier-free washroom is supposed to have the power door operator.
okay, so 104.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is going to be so just to get a better understanding, this will be more accessible from the beach. Is that correct? Like what you were saying before, you had to come down off the trail. So how is this one positioned in comparison to the other one?
This one is, it's probably at the area of the beach and trail that has the least amount of elevation difference. Um, it's situated closer to the trail than the beach. Um, something that could be done in the future would be like an accessible pathway to the beach, which is fairly level, but it's just grass to get from the washroom to the beach.
And how far would the beach be from the washroom?
Uh, probably a couple 100 feet at least. Yeah. To the
Certainly a walkway would sound like it'd be something that would benefit that for sure. So how far would it be from the parking lot then?
it's situated basically adjacent to the parking lot. There'll be an accessible parking space as close as possible to the bottom of the ramp.
Okay.
And then the parking lot, Matthew Street is scheduled to be paved next year, and we can include a delineated pathway from the trail as part of that the pavement that's going to take place. It'll be paved right up to the bottom of the ramp.
Okay, that would be excellent. Okay.
Sorry, Eddie, it's Bill Saunders. I'm looking at your schematic. Sorry, Mr. Chair. I see where the new building is, but I don't see, you referred to the parking lot being close. I see Matthew Street and I see Medical Center Road. I don't know where the parking lot is.
I don't know if you can see where Matthew Street comes off Medical Center Road,
Yep.
and it's drawn as just going past. There is pavement there now that follows those dark lines, but the new pavement will come right up to the ramp, and it will extend down along the there's a fence there next to the gazebo. It's going to be paved right up to that fence. I don't know if you
Okay.
can see that on there.
Yeah, I can, yeah. I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
I can say that this bathroom is going to be a huge upgrade to all people that not only use our beach, but use the trail, use the community. It'll be a 24/7 accessible bathroom, which is great for people driving in the roads, and it'll be open 24/7, 7 days a week, year round. Right now, the current bathroom that is there, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, is only really usable May till October. And it is been well used and well loved over the many years it's been there, and served its purpose. But now it is beyond its life. We need something accessible. We need something year round. Many tourists and community members come into that area, and it's going to be a great value to the whole area.
The design looks great, in my opinion. I mean, you seem to have everything covered. Um, it, it certainly, like you were saying, it looks like it's going to be a vast improvement. Were there any recommendations from the committee from what they see today, or? Okay. I think that I mean, if you'd like to, when does the construction start for this, Andy?
It's already underway. It's scheduled to be completed early in the spring.
Okay, all right. So will there be a grand opening for the?
Possibly, yeah. Could we could do something like that.
All right. Okay, I think that I'm not sure if there's anything that else that we could add. Then I mean, the the design seems to be, you know, it looks like it has covered everything. I don't, if no committee members have any concerns, were there any questions that you had? Any further questions, I guess, or? Maybe what we could do at some point is when it's nearing completion, if you had any questions at that point, or if you wanted somebody to come back and just sort of go through it or something, that could certainly be a possibility as well.
Okay.
I know I certainly don't mind doing that. I've done that in the past, just just to provide that perspective from from a wheelchair user.
Okay.
Uh, all right, well, thank you for your time then, and definitely keep us posted on how it's going.
It will do.
All right, did we want to move on then to the next item, which is the renovation at Mountain Grove Hall?
Yeah, I can provide an overview of that as well.
Okay.
The Mountain Grove Hall, it had some flood damage last year in the kitchen area, and the stairs from the main floor to the kitchen were not wide enough. The rise and run was all over the place. They were pretty treacherous set of stairs, and the bathrooms are very small there. So as part of repairing the kitchen, we figured it would make sense to redo the stairs to the basement, which butt up to the bathrooms, which meant replacing the bathrooms as well with something more accessible.
Now, this is all in the basement area, is it?
It's a combination. The kitchen's in the basement, the bathrooms are on the main floor.
So are you looking at like improving the accessibility to just like to the main area and the washroom? Is that correct?
Basically expanding the washroom so that a wheelchair could use them. Yeah.
Now, did you provide, I guess looking back to the drawings here, was there something that you submitted regarding that?
There should be a set of drawings there.
Yeah, I see them there. Yep, I see them there. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that would be the one where like there's a picture of like a washroom in the right corner of the facility, and there's a door or an entrance right to. It looks like it's on like the east side. Is that correct?
Yeah, it'd be the south side of the building actually, but
Mhm.
yeah.
So then there will be two washrooms. One will be looks like it's like a fully accessible washroom, and then there's a smaller one right to the very beside it. Is that the one I'm looking at?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Did any of the committee members want to add
Does
any
this help,
perspective?
Neil? I pulled the designs up on the screen. Can everybody see those?
Okay. Sorry, I was that's helpful actually because I was jumping back and forth between
Oh,
my
I'm
PDF.
sorry. I could have done this with the other ones as well. So which, is this the page that you were looking at?
That's the page there. Is that correct, Andy?
Yeah, A2 is, shows the layout, the new layout. That,
Sorry, am I on the right page, Andy?
yep, that's correct. That middle, the middle drawing there would be the one to zoom in on.
That'll be so that's the new design then.
Yes.
Jeanette, can you make that full screen?
I think it is full screen, is it not? It is full screen.
Okay.
Are you able to
Well, I've
scroll?
lost it now. Okay, so I can zoom in. Is this
Is
where
it-
you needed me to zoom in, right in this area here?
Yeah.
That's where most of the work has taken place right there. Yeah.
And so what are some of the features then that you are going to be adding to this? So like again, will this have like a like a like a smooth surface like at the entrance with automatic doors and things like that?
The currently the entrance to the building needs to be upgraded, but we've applied for a grant for 2026. And we're just starting the design phase for the outside of the building. It was just this flooding in the kitchen is what brought the interior renovation on. We figured we might as well make it accessible while we're at it, and then we can look at doing the exterior of the building next year
Well,
possibly.
I think when it comes to the accessible washrooms, anyways, there are some things that to keep in mind, and it's hard to tell from this drawing some of the smaller details, but things like making sure that there's no barriers that get put in place within the washroom during the design, like things like where like the trash can or the garbage can might be positioned. Would it be something that would be stationary on the wall, or would it be something that would be moved that could be moved around on the floor? Um, Having on the back of the door, having a couple of different hooks, maybe one at a higher level and then one at a lower level, if somebody is looking to hang their coat up that might be using the washroom and using some kind of, maybe they might be using wheelchair or something like that. So they would need a lower hook to access to like to hang up their coat. Making sure that in regards to the sink location, that the soap dispenser is within an area that they can reach where they're not having to, like sometimes the sink can become the barrier to actually reaching the soap dispenser. So making sure that the soap is close enough to where people can reach it, that they're not, the sink's not getting in the way of them accessing that. And also what kind of like to dry their hands, is it going to be like a paper towel dispenser, or is it going to be electric heat?
I think if Jeanette can go down to the next page, A3, I believe there's elevations of the inside of the bathroom. Yeah, up near, yep.
Right there. Okay. So is number 3, that looks like, is that a paper towel dispenser?
That looks like the soap dispenser to me,
Okay.
or hand dryer. Looks
I think,
looks
yeah, it might be the hand dryer. Looks like number 5 is the soap dispenser.
yeah. Number 3 is a hand dryer.
Okay. So is that paper towel or electric? The only reason I ask is because obviously electric is easy. Electric hand dryers are much more accessible in some respects, just because you don't need to have grip or dexterity if you're trying to dry your hands. If it's a paper towel dispenser, you might want to look for a model that not only gives you the option to pull the paper to the bottom, but for some people that don't have very good dexterity, sometimes you get paper towel dispensers that have a push button on the bottom that'll pump the paper out, or a lever on the side that they can just pull down on to help dispense some of the paper. Those are just things I know that I look for. The doors obviously would they, I'm guessing that would be lever handled then?
Correct. Yeah. And the hand dryer is it's an electric hand dryer is what's spec there.
And I guess the other thing too is the type of locking mechanism on the door. Would it be like a push button, or would it be like a lever, like a some kind of slide bolt?
It's gonna have the electric strike with the push to lock button, and
Okay.
then
That's
you
even
just
better.
push it. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I did have a question for you.
Sure, go
Or
ahead.
actually, for Andy. When we were, when you and I had a chance to tour the new county offices, we identified, I think, I don't know what you call them, but slight deficiencies, stuff, and improvements. So, Andy, would this be part of the process? I mean, you'll get 90% of the work done, and then have some members of the committee go through for any final adjustments and touch-ups, or would you prefer that all done now?
I'm not sure how you work with other municipalities. I'm open to suggestions. You know, most of this is new to me, but other than I try to make it meet the building code, and that usually means that it would meet any accessibility requirements. But
So if I could just maybe add one thing to that, one of the issues that we did have with the county administration building is because of liability issues, sometimes they will not let a member of the public walk through it while construction is still happening. So just be cognizant that you may not be able to go through it until it is complete. And it's unfortunate that at that time some changes are noticed.
So sometimes some of the detail is at the very latest stages, right? So things like even the position of the dryer or the soap, which are pretty key things when it comes to. I mean, they seem simple enough, but sometimes they can have, some of the barriers that some of the biggest barriers just because of the location or even the height. And so you would think that some of those things would maybe might not be done at that, would there be enough construction, I guess, done at that point where the committee member could go in and sort of look at what it looks like before the very final touches? I don't know. Is that an option?
A lot of this stuff, the backing and in behind the wall and stuff, I think the locations on the drawings here probably should be, if there's concerns about the locations, they should be brought up sooner than later. Otherwise, if walls are already painted and something needs to be moved and there's nothing to attach it to in behind the wall, it can get costly.
Well, looking at the drawings of myself, I mean, the hand dryer looks like it's in a good position. Because the last thing you want to do is, dry your hands and have to go across to the other side of the room, which I've seen happen before, where the paper towels might be, or hand dryer, because if someone's using a cane or a mobility device, they obviously want the dryer or the hand towels to be close. The soap dispenser is right there, I see, next to the sink. As long as it's something that's easy to use for somebody, and easy to reach, depending on how far the sink comes out, that would certainly be sort of my only other concern. Do any of the committee members have any feedback they'd like to offer at this point?
Yes, I would please, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the position of the soap dispenser. I use a mobility device that isn't a wheelchair, but it looks like it would be very difficult to access it. I wonder if it would be possible to have it on the left-hand side of the sink. The other comment I have, I would recommend including grab bars on the toilet in the second washroom, because there's many people who use canes and could use that washroom as long as there were grab bars in it.
Right.
Yeah, those I can add.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying about the soap dispenser there, Janet. I know even like where I work now, the soap dispenser is it's sort of the same scenario where the soap dispenser is like in the corner section, and it's hard to get to because the sink extends, and it's hard to sort of, especially if you're in a chair. I mean, it's different if you're standing, but if you're in a chair, it's hard to sort of get the reach to the deep part of that corner, where if it was on the left side of the sink, it would be much easier because there's no barrier there to get around to the soap dispenser.
Sorry, Mr. Allen, if it would be helpful, I could always as well send Central Frontenac the comments that were made by the Accessibility Committee when you did a site visit of our building. It notes a number of issues with the washrooms. And again, because sometimes when construction companies develop these new spaces, they think they're being accessible, but when you're not actually in a position to have to use something, you really don't know. So a lot of things were missed when the county administration building was done as well, and especially in the washrooms. So what I can do is I can just forward those comments that the committee made with the county building, just so that the same mistakes aren't repeated in other places.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, the building code obviously lists code to make things accessible, but sometimes, as we've seen before, just the position of certain things can then in turn, even though it would meet code, it would, the position or location of a certain item might then make it inaccessible, not through any particular fault, just sometimes that's the way it works out. So the feedback from the other washroom might certainly be helpful as well. Yeah, I agree.
Then, Mr. Chair, one final question. Something I learned from you when we were looking at the other washroom is, should there be a shelf in the vicinity of the toilet?
Shelf is always handy, because some people who are using the washroom have to bring their own supplies, and if you don't have a shelf, you don't want to be setting your supplies on the floor, or in the sink. And I'll tell you an interesting story, and it's short. But I was at Providence Care not too long ago, and I was using one of their accessible washrooms, and they didn't have a shelf in there. So I got my supplies out and I went to set them in the sink because that was the only place to set them. But the tap was automatic. It was an automatic water tap. So as soon as I set my supplies in the sink, the water came on, which flooded my bag that I had my supplies in. So I was acting very quickly to try and get, but those are some of the little things, right? Like that you don't recognize sometimes until you're sort of in the moment. So definitely a shelf of some kind is always useful in a washroom, just to give an option for people to set things, or if someone's transferring as well from a wheelchair onto the toilet, sometimes they need some place where they can like set their cell phone or their wallet or their purse or something like that, so that it's not, sitting on the floor or in the sink. Does that help, Andy, then with some of your?
Yeah, I can take all that and incorporate it.
Okay, and Jeanette was saying she'll send you the some of the feedback that we had from the county offices as well, which would probably pertain to the washroom in this situation as well.
Yeah, that would definitely help because yeah, building code is your minimum requirements. You can always do better.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess at this point we're gonna move on to the township updates then. Are there any updates for the township that they'd like to speak to at this point?
So there was township updates received from North Frontenac. I do see Andy on the call. If you had any questions regarding that, they were attached to the agenda. The updates from Central Frontenac, Andy has been able to speak about. So, but if there's any additional questions, and then Frontenac Islands, again, theirs was done more so through a report.
All right, so if there's no questions then about any of those, there are no communications or other business.
No, there were
And,
none.
so we would just go on to the next meeting then, the next meeting date.
So the next meeting date would be sometime in the new year. So I could work with the chair to find out again when items are coming forward. I believe, Janet, did you want to speak to something?
No.
Okay, sorry, I just saw it was clicking on my end. No worries.
Oh, I'm sorry. I plugged the battery into my phone because I was getting low power.
But I can certainly reach out to township staff when they'll have additional items to come forward to the committee and then reach out and work with the chair to come up with the next meeting date, if that's okay.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So at this point then, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, Nikki, and I can second. All in favor, I should say. All right, well, thank you very much, everybody, and we will all be in touch soon, I'm sure.